Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I thought I would do a Tome Topple TBR. This is round 4 of Tome Topple. It is hosted by Sam at Thoughts on Tomes. It is running from August 4th through the 17th. Starts at midnight, and then you go till the 11:59 p.m. on the 17th. So it's 2 weeks of reading really big books, which is really cool. So I already had a few books on my TBR that I wanted to read, so was pretty easy to choose a couple for the 2 weeks, and I'm just hoping I can get through them all. So the books that I chose is books I should have finished already, which is The Witchwood Crown by Tad Williams. It's the first book in The Last King of Ostenard. It's a continuation of the trilogy The Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn that was written over 20 years ago. This book takes place 30 years later, and so a lot of the characters are the same, and the world has moved on a little bit, but it's still a lot of the same stuff. This is my most anticipated book of the year. I was waiting for this so desperately, and then I started reading it, and then I found myself out of time before I had to read something for my book club. And then I let other things get in my way, and then vacation, and, just library books, things that I shouldn't have, but I really want to finish this book. The book is almost 700 pages long, and I've read about 200 pages. So, that's 500 pages left on a 700-page book. That is a tome, that's finishing a tome off, so I'm going to do that. I'm really looking forward to this. Again, as I said, it's a good epic fantasy, one of my favorite authors, so that's the first one I'm going to attempt. The second one is actually one that's been on my bookshelf for many years, but I drew it in my TBR jar pick of the month back in June, which I pick on the first of every month. I have to pick a book from the jar that is anything of any genre that I haven't read yet. So the one that was picked was Tigana by Guy Gabriel Kay. And I've had this book, as I said, I have had it more years than I can even count. Many years. I don't remember when I bought it. I just know it's always been here for the last couple moves, so that's been a long time. Anyway, I don't know a whole lot about this book. I have read some other stuff by him, but that was, 15 so years ago, so I don't remember if I picked this book up after I read the other stuff I read by him. It was like a trilogy, which I have no idea what the name of it is. I can't even remember if the first book was called The Summer Tree, or one of them was called The Summer Tree, and that's not all I remember of that. I remember what happens in the books more than I remember their titles. Well, anyway, so this book, though, I know it has something to do with a tyrant king and people wanting to be free and, something. It's very epic fantasy-ish. So I hear it's supposed to be really good. I know a lot of people have talked about it. So I was my jar pick. So I was supposed to read it within 2 months of picking this, but time just got away from me. So I'm giving it one more shot. Tome Topple. Again, it's about 660 pages long. So it definitely counts. And if I enjoy it, that's great. And I read it, at least I'll know. And I can either put it back on my shelf or I have to get rid of it. But it's a good book for Tome Topple because I have to read it anyway or else I have to get rid of it. So I will give it a shot. And then I'm going to have another book in my tome in my car as an audiobook, and that's Dead House Gates by Stephen Erickson. It's the second book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I started reading this about, 6-7 years ago, and something happened. I got distracted. I had read 400 pages of it, and then I don't know what happened, and I don't remember what happened. So I went back. I got this in April. I started listening to it thinking, kind of was on round 3 of Tome Topple. It was the first time I'd heard about it, and I tried to do it with this and another book, and it just didn't work out. I did get about 180 pages into this by the audiobook, which was many hours, because again, this audiobook is like over 30 hours, I think. I don't know, it's high. Because it's like an 830-page book. So it's a long audiobook. So I did make some progress. I just didn't finish it. I just stopped after a week or so of listening to it, and I was just tired of it. So I wanted to listen to music instead on the way to and from work. So I want to redo this. So in the next 2 weeks, I want to have this in my car. So at least I make another good chunk in it. I'm not sure what's going to happen once I hit the mark where I last read, which was, in the 420s. Read to, I don't know if I want to continue on with the audiobook through it, because again, it's really a long time, or else I'll just switch to physically reading it. But as I said, this is my third kind of book, so I kind of want to get as much done as I can, but we'll see what happens. So I do have a backup book in case I don't like Tigana, or I don't know, I don't decide to listen to the audiobook or something, and because I know I'm going to read The Witchwood Crown. I'm sorry, that's just happening. That's the next book after I finish one other book I have to read for my book club. So, but my backup book is a book I want to read hopefully this month. If not, it's going to keeps getting pushed down, and I really want to read it because it sounds really fun. And that's Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. And it's about some mercenaries who retired but are called back to action by one of their colleagues who has something's wrong with his daughter. I don't know if she's kidnapped or something happens. I don't actually know. But all I know is they get what they're saying, they're getting the boys back together to go and save the day. And I guess it's supposed to be pretty funny. So I actually think it's going to become a series. I'm not sure. I thought I heard that, but anyway, I saw this book and a couple of months ago, and I got it, and I really wanted to read it, but it just has not been the right time. And so this is my backup book. Now, technically, it's not a tome. It's 490 pages, but I think it's close enough that I would count it. I'm not going to quibble over 10 pages when I'm reading books that are 700 pages or higher, and are 660 or an 800 page book, audiobook wise. So 10 pages is not going to kill me. But this is just the backup book, so it might not happen this month either. So I'm going to get to this. Really, I am. So anyway, that's what I'm planning to read for the 2 weeks of Tome Topple, round 4. Hey, are you participating? And what are you reading? Are you reading any of these or anything good? Anything at all? I just want to know what other people are reading. I mean, I'm obviously epic fantasies are my thing. That's where my epic tomes come from, and I think that's pretty normal, but I'm kind of excited, and anyway, so I'll hope to see you on the other side with all these books done. Bye.